You're craving some freedom, space in your life to breathe, to think, to enjoy everything that you've created, but instead you're driving people everywhere. Your calendar is packed and you're working more nights than you even want to admit. And if you're like me, your inside voice is saying stuff like, Susan, get your shit together, and why can't you just be more organized? And boundaries, work-life balance, I don't think it's really what will deliver the freedom that we want. And I think it's actually the thing keeping us stuck. We are not doing ourselves any favors if we continue to go after a concept like work-life balance. And I need to show you why this is true. I also am going to be sharing a new concept for us to sink our teeth into that can deliver freedom in a sustainable way and a practice to start taking steps towards having the freedom you want. If you want real and honest, I will share an insight I had on this concept that had me stop in my tracks. If you're down for that, wait till the end. I'll share. If you're new here, my name is Susan. I'm a life and leadership coach here for the deep thinking, high achieving, humanity pleasing women who deserve to have some freedom in their lives, but can't figure out how to actually get it. Friends, the math doesn't math. I mean, it's really not math, but it makes my head hurt as if it's math. Work-life balance assumes that we have half of our life at work and half of our life not working. Then all of the stuff that we need to do fits in this half of life and this half of work, except overtime, extra expectations, sick, and we get behind, and team members who don't pull their weight, and new projects and bajillions of emails all of a sudden has work ballooning. Oh, the not work life, like kids not sleeping, aging parents, driving children everywhere, vacations, chores. There is so much going on in each. This means we have to be really productive, putting all of this stuff into this time and all of this stuff into this time. We're working off a lot of assumptions that we'll be able to achieve this level of productivity, which is essentially expecting the impossible from a modern day human, and has this on this treadmill of doing and doing and doing and trying to put more into our time. If that's what work-life balance is that this part is going to play nicely with this part, and they're going to be about equal, and we're going to get as much done in both. Who wants that? Work-life balance isn't the answer to freedom. The answer is alignment, and you can get something way better from an aligned life. In increasingly complex lives, the real skill isn't about juggling or getting more productive or getting more efficient or more organized. The real muscle here comes from getting clear on what actually matters and then discerning what is aligned. It requires us to slow down a little bit and start to look at what we're doing to say, is this really in alignment with what I want? Instead of managing time, you're starting to create meaning. You can think of alignment as making intentional choices that align with what actually matters to you and getting really clear on that. And that becomes your North Star. Instead of managing time better so everything fits neatly and perfectly, we think of prioritizing what's essential and letting go of what's not, instead of feeling guilty for never ever doing enough or not doing it well enough or being organized enough. Alignment is knowing you're spending your time where it matters most. And it feels so good because you're inside the experiences doing the things that matter most to you. You can think of a work-life balance as trying to create that perfect schedule. And alignment is designing a life that feels good. Not just looks balanced on paper, it actually feels good. Because balance forces you to manage everything, alignment helps you choose what truly matters to you. I'm going to give you what I would call a little freedom audit. This is where you look back on last week's activities If you can print it out or in your notebook, look at them there. And then with 3 highlighters, highlight things that are totally aligned that you're like, yep, for sure. Super, super important, really matter to me. Another color for that, I have to do it, but I don't know, that middle space. And then the things that, nope, no, not aligned at all. So basically, you're giving yourself the 3 different buckets to start looking at, what did last week's calendar actually say to me? And then from that, make one shift towards freedom. It's building this muscle of constantly connecting to what really matters to you, and then building your next week off of that. So in that way, our activities become a reflection of what matters to us. And that is probably the easiest way, just to start aligning to what matters to you. So I'm curious, just share down below something that you did last week that really mattered to you, so that we can start to fill up this whole space with little reminders of what is really, really important, and see that for ourselves and see it reflected back. Let's not fill our lives with busy. Let's fill our lives with experiences and things that matter. So if you're down for that, subscribe, share this so that we can build this conversation together. And now let's go listen to that story, awkward story, next. Yep, raw uncut footage. So this week, when I was attempting to record this video, it was already a short week. There was a holiday on Monday, and I wanted to be with my mom, who was having cataract surgery, and that was going to take all of Thursday. Super tight week. I already knew I wasn't going to get it all done, and yet still I wanted to. Thursday came, took my mom to her surgery, and it was really straightforward and all well. And it was like all family stuff. And lots of the work, including recording this video, didn't happen. And so at the end of the day, my husband was asking me, how did your day go? And I said, here's the thing, didn't really feel very productive. In fact, this week hasn't felt productive at all. And I could just feel how I had wanted and probably still want to do so much more. And yet, obviously, for the constraints of a holiday and being with my mom, that wasn't going to happen. But I said to him, here's the thing. What I do know is this week, the time that I spent was completely aligned to what was most important to me. And he said, oh, you can go and work tonight if you want. And I paused. Maybe I'll do that while you're busy doing other stuff. And then I realized that what I wanted was to have the feeling of being productive, of getting more done, but that I would really rather learn to love the feeling of an aligned life over a life where I just get lots done, because that's the stuff that lasts. So it was really interesting to notice that productivity and getting lots done feels different than alignment. And I connect that to mostly being familiar with productivity and that measure. And so got some work to do on feeling what alignment feels like and building my life out. Here's what I know. I had a good week. I did what matters, and that's staying with me. So thanks for tuning in. If you listened in this long, I appreciate it. Take good care, and we'll see you next week.